we are, coming at you live from all around town, and everything that comes straight through my mouth is all the way from our divine creator, Gorthok. Welcome everyone to our fifth annual Gorthok celebration scheme. And what we're going to be doing together, everyone, is we're going to take our laptops that we're watching this on, because I just assume that everybody's watching it on a laptop. We're going to take those laptops, we're going to smash them over a giant pole. So what I've done is I have taken a giant atrium of ground. I have removed a spherical opening from the ground. How do I do that in a sphere without making it a semicircle, right? Because like when you imagine removing a sphere from the ground, you would just imagine half. Maybe that's what I did. I imagined half of a sphere removed. But what I've done, I've tunneled deep into the universe of Earth, and into the earth of Earth. I have tunneled deeply into what the things I've mentioned, and inside of the tunnel, it opens up into a spherical opening. There is a walkway that will take you in further into the atrium, where you can see the single pole where we do our sacrifice of laptops to Gorthok. We don't want to be distracted anymore. We can't figure out how to live in unity with technology.
Yeah, well, I have the ultimate solution.
Gorthok says from the depths.
You must defeat your laptop.
And I go, Gorthok, my livelihood's on my laptop. How will I afford to live?
Leave it all up to chance.
That's when I found out that Gorthok came from Las Vegas. This is actually a giant expose on Gorthok. What did you think Gorthok was, guys? He came out of nowhere. He encouraged us to play the odds. That's a very Las Vegas thing of him to do. He encouraged us to break into an antique store, stealing old things from a place where they've been trying to sell them for a long time and they can't. He got us to break into pawn shops. He got us to collect slime. Yeah, slime. He got us to smash our laptops. And now how do we communicate? Smoke signals, sounds from our mouth. What year is it? 1990? It may as well be with the way that I'm dressed. Yeah. That's what some people say about me. That's what some people will say. They'll say, you dress like you're from a zany 1990s cartoon, man. You've got crazy energy. Where do you get it from? Man, I'll tell you. My brand new morning routine that I'm doing, everyone, is good, is great. It's put me in an energetic spot. Also, what's put me in this energetic spot is I haven't had enough to eat today, and I've drank a lot of coffee. So what we're doing is called redlining. Are you redlining with us? I don't encourage it. I don't think it's great. I don't think that it's something that you have to do anything. But what I did know for today was I had a lot of things going on, and I needed a small breakfast. So I put a lot of bits and bobs inside the new magic bullet. And you can grind up anything in a magic bullet. You can grind up your thoughts. You can grind up your fears. You can grind up your little weed. All right? You can do whatever you want with a little magic bullet. You know what I choose to do? A healthy morning smoothie that keeps me going throughout the day. So the brand new morning routine, how am I feeling so energetic, everyone? Hey man, what are you on? What's your energy? Yeah, I'm doing this new drug called morning routine, where you wake up and the first thing you do is the last thing you'll ever do. No, just kidding. That's the morning routine where you die. So what I do, this brand new morning routine, I've written it down. It's a science, right? It's proven by utopian scientists who have descended from the heavens and poked and prodded us with their brand new shiny metallic tools. They told me that this is a good morning routine. So basically, I am the speaker of aliens. Gorthok, get the fuck out of here. I am the speaker from aliens to you. I'm going to teach you how to have a good life. This is what I do. Now that I've got a lot of free time in the mornings, I'm not being a COVID cop. I'm not acting on set. I'm isolating for reasons. So what I do when I wake up, I avoid the phone. If the phone's anywhere close to me, I go like this, ping, get out of here. Right? It's like a little fly, and I'm like, you know? The phone's like, gonna nag you with a bunch of things that you want to be doing with your time. And I'm like, hey, get those. And I decide, hey, I'm gonna do what I want with my time. I'm gonna make my own morning routine. So I decided, now that I've got a bunch of free time back, I get to enjoy my life once again. I've decided to make a new morning routine, and it's working. You ever heard of a morning routine that works? I must be a billionaire. Am I? No. But maybe one day. Just kidding. That's not what I strive for. But this morning routine could make you a billionaire if that's what you want. What? Tell us the morning routine then. I will. All right? I'll get to it. Do you want to be patient? This is the patient podcast. Let's all wait as we turn our heads. Awesome 180-degree turn of our heads, everybody. So this morning routine, I start off and I hit the phone away. And then what I do is I take a 20-minute meditation. So my friend Josh from Stara, he does a 60-minute meditation, and whoa, that's a lot of time. You got to wake up pretty early for that to like not be like a huge chunk of your day. So not there yet in terms of my waking up. Gotta change that up. That's one of the things I'm still trying to work on as a human being, is waking up earlier. You're gonna have that morning energy. If you want to have energy that's required for taking on life, wake up in the morning. So I'm trying to do that because sometimes I wake up in the afternoon. So I've been waking up 8:30, 9:30 if I'm riding the snooze train, sometimes 11:30, sometimes 1:45, and that's when I panic. If I wake up at 8:30, the time that's required for that morning energy, even earlier is better, honestly. Wake up at 3, wake up anytime you want. Wake up at 8:30 and just do a 20-minute meditation where you just focus on your breath. And oh my God, when I'm focusing on my breath, when I'm doing my breathing, it's so easy to just get caught up in like trying to plan your day. And that's what you're not supposed to fucking do. Like, meditating is a passive. I almost said active. It's a passive state, right? You are observing. You are not in control. You've relinquished control of your breath, of your body, and you just observe what's going on, everyone. You're like a big pair of goggles watching everything. You have turned yourself from human Josh, that's me, to human goggles. You've turned into goggles. So you turn into the goggles and you just like, I'm picking my nose now. Let's just pick our noses. You just watch everything that's going on. You watch the breath. You can look at the little colors and shapes behind your eyes. You can watch thoughts come in and out. Try not to entertain them. The bad guests. Okay? So I do a 20-minute meditation today. Pretty distracted. There was a lot of stuff that I needed to do today. I had 3 auditions come in and I was like, oh man. What do I do with my time? Let me figure it out. And then I thought that I was going to be streaming with Josh. And then technical difficulties. What's new, right? And then I thought, yeah, gonna start working on all the auditions. You know what I did instead? Video games. Worked on the audition while walking, so I got all my work done. Did you watch porn? Yeah, maybe. There's a bunch of stuff going on. All right. Every day is a wild mix of things. But getting back to the meditation, did I plan things? Tried not to. Did I observe things? Tried to. And you're not supposed to get in your head when you're meditating. All you got to do is just get back to the breath. You know what a really inspiring person said through my ears? I was going to say to me, but he didn't. He said it to me through a podcast where you're speaking to another person. So really he's not saying it to me or anyone. Maybe he was saying it to Tim Ferriss. That was the podcast he was on. So what he said was meditation is the return to breath, right? Because we think like meditation, you are cross-legged on a tree branch. You weigh 0 pounds. You're wearing a zebra print tuxedo. Oh, this is getting weird. You pick grapes from the air. Okay, this is not the idea of meditation. Well, you're at peace, right? We think you're at peace. There's no thoughts going on. You are simply presence. And I've been that before. This morning wasn't that for very long periods at a time. But you don't get in your head about that. You just bring yourself back to the breath. Meditation is the return to the breath. And that's how you stop getting in your head when you're doing it. You just like, when you return to the breath, you go, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. And that's meditation. That it's choosing not to label or identify with your thoughts. And instead, you just kind of watch them go by, just like you're watching everything else going on. You're watching the sights, you're watching the sounds, hearing as they say, smelling as they say. You are observing everything passively. So I'm doing that for 20 minutes. Wow, that was a long tangent. And then after that, I grab the phone. Don't look at social media. Do not. I look instead at the Wim Hof app, where I'm doing the Wim Hof method. Also recommended to me by my friend Josh. Wow, man, you gonna be a Josh Dick Rider the whole podcast? No, he's my friend. He tells me cool stuff he's working on, like life things, like maybe he's working on posture, and I'll tell him what I'm working on. And now I'm telling you guys what I'm working on. So why don't you chill out, man? Why are you attacking me like that? Okay? But what I do the Wim Hof method, where you basically how it works. More or less, we all know how Wim Hof works. You step in a barrel of ice and you live, right? That's what I thought the Wim Hof method was. No. So what you do, man, I'm gonna get that, is what you do is you do a series of 30 breaths in and out, right? That's how breath works, in and out. And then after the 30th or 40th breath, if you're feeling spicy, you let it all out and you just chill. You just let it all go away. And because you have expanded your lungs, and I really don't understand the science of it, what I think's going on is that by breathing in to your maximum amount and letting it go, you are getting the blood pumping and moving and, circulating, I guess. Blood's always circulating, I guess. And then when you are depriving yourself of the breath, I think that you are letting all of the blood, not the blood, but the oxygen in the blood, it's all kind of returning to the source. Like, I don't know, maybe it's returning to your lungs. Maybe it's returning to your heart. Maybe it's returning to your brain. I don't know science. I definitely don't. Okay? You want to ask a scientist? You ask Mike on the upcoming podcast. Or you ask Davis, right? Someone who knows math and science. I do not. So I don't know how it works. What I do know is I've figured out how to hold my breath for 3 fucking minutes. All right? All right? Because when I watched the Titanic as a kid and I saw, Jack swimming through the Titanic, I watched another movie where there was another cruise ship or ship in general that crashed and it filled with water and they had to move through the water, and they can't breathe in water. I didn't know if you didn't know that. You can't breathe in water, so you got to hold your breath. So I would watch these people in these movies and, they would be underwater for like 5 movie minutes. Can you do that? David Blaine can. He can also throw up a frog. So if David Blaine's out of the running, who else can do that? Free divers. Yeah, free divers aren't piloting ships, sailing as they call it on the ocean. You know what those people are in the ship, in the movie? The average person. And I watched them hold their breath for so long, and I thought so little of myself because I couldn't hold my breath for very long. You would watch someone do that. You'd watch them submerge, and you would try and hold your breath with them, and by the time 30 seconds comes around, you're like, fuck this shit, man, and you let it all out. I was like that when I started my Wim Hof breathing. The first time I ever did it, there's a little YouTube tutorial you can watch. It'll teach you how to breathe. You can watch it. First time I ever did it, while I was holding my breath, definitely felt like fuck this shit at 30 seconds. That's okay. Let it go. That's what he says. Let it go. And I'm like, oh man, I will. So when I got to the second round of breathing, you do 3 rounds, 30 breaths, and then followed by a breath hold for as long as you're comfortable with. That's how it works. By the time the second round came around and I was doing the roundhouse kick, when I was doing the breath hold on the second round, he said something to me through the YouTube video. Once again, thinking I'm the target of these speeches. I am actually not. He said to me, and I quote, "You're doing fantastic." And I was not feeling very secure about my life at that point. And when he told me I was doing fantastic, I was like, oh man, maybe I am doing fantastic. And I started crying. Yeah, started crying when I did the Wim Hof breathing for the first time. That's how you know you found a habit that you want to stay with. Yeah, man. It made me cry. It made me feel things. That was a big release. I was holding my breath, but at the same time, I was like, I was just basically sitting there you're doing fantastic. And I was like, trying not to breathe, but at the same time crying. Right? You ever tried to cry and not breathe at the same time? It's really fucking hard. So yeah, probably let go of my breath in 1 minute. But these days, I'm doing this thing where I am very conscious of my body when I'm breathing because he Wim Hof encourages you. I guess this is the Wim Hof podcast. He encourages you to feel your body while you're doing it. It's actually a very important part of the process that you feel your body as you're doing it. And if you're just breathing from your chest, there's only so much breath that you can take in. And I figured out through another YouTube video that I watched that the reason why we are taught that we're supposed to belly breathe is because you are compressing things using your diaphragm. All right, I'm already off the fucking trail. You are creating space for your lungs to expand by breathing through your diaphragm. Like your belly comes out, and that gives your lungs room to expand downwards. So while I'm doing the breathing, I'm focusing on belly, chest, and then I even try and get a little bit in my mouth. I'm like, and then I go, and I let it all out. But you don't force it out. You literally just let it out. You don't need an empty tank. You just, and then you go for another breath. So I guess you're like building up more and more breath as you're doing it. But those are things that I've been working on while doing the Wim Hof breathing. Even while I'm holding my breath, I can feel. I don't even know if this is like I'm literally feeling this or if I'm just like interpreting this. Oh, my pizza's here. I'm just kidding, everyone. Felt like checking my phone just to see how long we've been recording this because I decided to not have the info showing on the little monitor that I have on the floor to show me what the things look like. But I feel like I can feel the oxygen retreating from my blood into like the central atrium. All right. This is really sciencey talk here, but I can feel something leaving my body, and my body gets a little bit colder. He says that's normal. If you feel a little tingling, it's normal. But I feel it all retreating, and I can feel my lungs getting smaller and smaller and smaller as my heart beats and requires oxygen. I feel like it's like making the lungs give out what little oxygen they have left, and I can feel them getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as my heart beats more. And the point where it gets unbearable these days is 3 minutes. That's really hard to go past 3 minutes for whatever reason. Because like he says, don't force it. Sometimes I want to force it. he's like, never force. And sometimes I'm holding my breath and he's saying that, I'm like, but like not too hard. But sometimes I am like, but don't force it, right? Don't force anything. Don't force a relationship. Don't force a forest to deforest itself. Don't force quit your applications. Don't force eject your SD card. It's probably being used, right? There's a lot of ways that we can handle this. We can take all of our worries, put them in a little pot, and talk about them later. My phone just warned me to breathe. I probably should. That's right. I use the phone as a tool for positive living. That's what you can do with a phone these days. It doesn't always have to be Laffy Taffy, man. Phone doesn't have to be Candyland. All right. Phone can be new and exciting ways to use your body, like the meditation app, like the Wim Hof app. So what I do after I've done my meditation and my Wim Hof, that typically takes about 30 minutes total. After doing that, make a little coffee, do a little stretch, and I have been doing this new stretch where I'm holding a broom handle and I just do the shoulder thing because my shoulders historically in dinosaur times, historically, my shoulders have had very poor range of motion, and that's something that I want to change. Like I don't want to have bad range of motion in any direction. So what I do is I do a little stretch with the little sticky stick. I want to make a little video about it because I think it's actually like an important thing for people who want to be fit and mobile, right? You're gonna watch that. You're gonna go, oh man, Josh taught me so many things I kind of already knew. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reassert that knowledge for you, because there's different techniques you can do while you're stretching it. Like I know there's the classic put it over your head, put it back over your head. I've learned of other things that you can do with it. Like if you hold it above your head and then do a roll down, which is like you just roll down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. If you do that while you're holding it, I guess it kind of holds your posture in good place, and I feel a better release. And as soon as I feel like a tense point in my body, a point of tension, some say that emotions are stored in tension. Little theory on that later. I'm releasing, like anytime I feel tension, I just hang out there and I just try and relax the rest of my body, because I know like I'm feeling tension there, and you can try to consciously release that muscle. But what's easier is relaxing all the other muscles around it. And then for whatever reason, it just decides to relax itself at some point. Okay. Well, could have done that earlier. Could have made things a lot easier for me. The other thing I do is I hold it backwards and I do the front bend, and just the different positions and postures make it feel like a really thorough exercise. The other thing I've found out is if I'm doing like lunge type stretches and I'm holding the stick above my head, it holds me in a good posture, which is fantastic. And I actually feel like I can go deeper and be more effective in my posture. Yeah, man. So I'm going to make a tutorial upon that later. Yeah, I just made up that word. I'm going to do a tutorial on that later. But I only do it for a brief amount of time in the morning, right? It's just a few stretches. I make the coffee, and then I do morning pages. Now, there's a whole lot I can't say about morning pages because it is a mystic, a mystified, idolized art in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. The Bible for artists, some might say. It's a book I'm currently reading. Not the Bible for artists, the Artist's Way, which is the Bible for artists. Okay, just trying to clarify. I'm reading that, and one of the things that it asks you to do, it asks you to do 3 things on a weekly basis, or per week. It asks you to do 3 things. One of the things, morning pages. So after I do my meditation and my Wim Hof, and I've made my coffee and I've done my stretches, I just write. You can just write anything you want. You can just be as stupid as negative. Who's calling me? Oh, little call. All right. I just let the phone ring. I let the phone ring. I just let the phone ring. I let the phone ring. I'm busy and I don't want to decline the call right now. I'm gonna let the phone ring until it stops ringing right now. Thank you, everyone. We're almost done. So yeah, I do morning pages where you're just encouraged to write anything. Just don't take the pen off the page, just write for a full page. It can be as positive or as negative as possible. Today, I flipped to a page and it was a note that I wrote to myself March 2020. So I just replied to that. I had a lot of questions. I was like, what voids are you filling? Who are you in love with? Like, here's some things I've been thinking about recently. Like in that page, I was like, oh, here's some stuff I've discovered about mom and dad. And my only response to that was, wow, man, that really seems like stuff you would write if you're seeing them often. I can't see them a lot lately. Haven't seen my mom for a year, so wouldn't be overly critical of her, right? Anyway, I was just responding to that. It also encourages you to go for a walk once a week, and it encourages you to take yourself on an artist date, which I also encourage you guys to do. Basically, you just do something that the inner child, the inner artist in you would love doing. Like go to a dollar store, buy a shovel, and smack someone over the head. What I do for my artist dates, I'll take myself skateboarding and just like be loud while I'm doing it. Or I'll pretend I'm a botanist and I'll go and walk in the forest and like really try and observe the plants and like write down their qualities and stuff. Like, just take yourself for a date like that. Like, do something that makes the inner child in you happy. And you just do that once a week. So that's my morning routine. Thank you guys so much for listening to that. I am going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for listening to the updated morning routine of me. I am moving the podcast arm around a lot. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you for commenting. Brenda McCallum, thank you so much for responding to last week's podcast. I saw your comment. And who else commented? Who else commented on the last video? Is the video? Oh, I hope that the video feed doesn't end while I'm doing this. I hope it doesn't end while I'm moving this. 2 comments on last week's episode and 8 views. Wow, guys, we're really getting up there. So we have a comment from Brenda McCallum, and we have a comment from False Peak, my boy Jay. Subscribe to him on Twitch. Check him out on Twitch. He streams Tarkov and other fun games like Tarkov. And he also opens up Pokemon cards, which is really exciting to watch. So, yep, thank you to all those who commented on last week's podcast. And thank you so much for listening to this one. I'll catch you on the flippity flop on next week's episode, all right, man? I'm going to tell you some more funny stuff. Probably.